Hello everyone, my name is Jessica and I'm going to be vlogging my experience reading Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I had pre-ordered this book and it arrived today, March 18th, so right on time. It happened like during the morning while I was at work, so I got home and I was really excited to see this on my freaking porch. But yeah, I'm just really excited to be reading this because I love all of the previous Hunger Games books, so I'm just excited to see what's new that's gonna be brought to the table by this. So yeah, it's a really nice looking book. The usual Hunger Games font, obviously, and this goldish color, it reflects really pretty whenever it hits the light, as you can see. And on the back it says this: when you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? So I'm assuming this is going to be a story of hope, obviously, like kind of like how all the other books are. There's always some theme of hope in there, but I think maybe that'll ring especially true with this, just based on that. And I know it's supposed to be about Haymitch, so I'm really excited to see the experiences that he went through, give a little bit more context to his backstory. So yeah, I'm excited and I can't wait for you guys to go on this journey with me to read this. Alright, so I just got done with the first chapter. I'm very surprised. There's a lot of information in there, but I'm surprised because they didn't call Haymitch's name. But then, of course, the Woodbine, who they called his name as the second tribute for the boys, his head got shot. So that was insane. I wasn't expecting that. Like, I was getting ready for them to say Haymitch, but then they said someone else's. So that's like a little bit of a twist there. And I really like Haymitch and Lenore Dove's relationship that they have going, and it's so crazy to see like his thoughts as a child, because now, you know, obviously from the movies and the books, we know Haymitch is someone who's very, not negative, but just like he's been done wrong by the world, and he is a drunk, you know, so an alcoholic, to put it nicely. And here he's like, oh, he has a bottle of alcohol, but he'll gladly trade it. He's like, oh, I'm not one for drinking. So yeah, it's just crazy how much things changed, but I guess that's what it's all about, to see where he started and his origin story. So I guess we'll see what keeps on happening. And it's really interesting to see all the connections of the families, of the Everdeen family, the Covey family, everything like that. So it's definitely giving us more insight into everything. Okay, so I'm doing a quick little check-in of my thoughts and feelings thus far in the book. So right now I'm at the part where they're on the train, they're heading to Panem after the reaping. And first off, I want to say Maisily, I don't know how exactly to say it, but she is a savage. Like every comeback she has to Drusilla's comments is insane. And if the Hunger Games were, you know, not a physical thing, if it were about comebacks, then she would definitely be set. She'd be solid for that, but unfortunately it's not. But I am loving that. I found that very entertaining, and honestly, Drusilla deserves it because she's treated them horribly and just the things she's been saying, but she's just, you know, it's to be expected, and it really makes you miss Effie, but oh well, you gotta have some villains in the story. And I will say I'm excited to see how Haymitch and Luella's bond / friendship / alliance develops, because they're neighbors, so they have that familial quality to them, and I just feel like their bond will strengthen. But obviously we know the ending, only one can be crowned the winner, so I wonder what's gonna go wrong there. And yeah, it's just gonna be probably like a do-over of Rue and Katniss. It's gonna be really sad, and I am noticing that comparison, so I'm gonna see how they measure up to one another and how they differ. So it's late at night, I'm reading before bed, and I'm just like, what is going on right now? Because I thought Luella died, which, by the way, I guess I was wrong. I was like, oh, like, I wonder how Haymitch and Luella's relationship will develop. It won't. She freaking died. at the freaking opening ceremony. So that was sad, but that was low-key iconic and like, I don't know, very eventful, and I wasn't expecting it to be a whole thing like the opening ceremony, you know, like usually it's more of a smaller snippet, but no, like crazy stuff went down. But anyways, she died, so I was like, oh, okay, I guess I was wrong about that. But now Haymitch went to see Snow and she's alive, question mark. I don't know, I haven't started the new chapter yet, but I definitely like am really confused because her death felt so final and like definitive in the part where it happened. So I don't know, it's got to be like some sort of thing that the Capitol created. Like there's no way that that's her being brought back to life. I mean, it could be, but I doubt it. I freaking doubt it. But yeah, we're gonna continue this another time. That's like a good cliffhanger to end on, I think, for myself. I love ending on a good cliffhanger. And some people might think that's crazy and they're like, what? If there's a cliffhanger, obviously I'm gonna go to the next page, I'm gonna read the next thing. Yes, but also I'm crazy. And it's like a motivational thing for me to read the next time, because it's not like I don't want to keep reading it, but sometimes it's hard for me to just begin. And when I begin, I want to keep going for a while. But yeah, sometimes it's just hard for me to begin, but it's definitely not going to be because cliffhanger. Okay, so I read a couple of pages more and I'm right before chapter 15. Sorry, my voice is like but yeah, so I'm at the part where they just had their interviews and it's right after. First of all, that was like crazy few pages to read. I thought that they were just gonna like make a, you know, sort of like look-alike of Luella, but no, they just like got this poor girl and like brainwashed her and like put stuff in her head. I feel so bad for her and everything she's going through. Like you could tell she's going through it, but that's just crazy and it just shows how evil they are. And also we got to see Effie.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now come on now.
Okay, Effie. I always wondered like what she was like in the past, because you know, in the Hunger Games movies and books, like she's more sympathetic, I guess, toward like everything going on with the Hunger Games and with Katniss and Peeta. So it's good to know that she was like a nice person, even though she's ignorant, obviously, but it's good to know that she was always nice and she's looking out for District 12 and the fashion and everything, because Magno sucks. And yeah, it's just crazy, like with this whole plan that Beetee and Ampert, sorry if I said it weird, and Haymitch have going on. Oh, and also Plutarch, which I was expecting that. I was expecting him to like reveal to Haymitch that, you know, he's on his side, but yeah, I didn't expect him to do it by letting Haymitch talk to Lenore Dove. That's really nice of him to do, but like I get why he did it, because it's like, how else would Haymitch trust him? He still doesn't trust him fully. But yeah, it's just crazy, lots of crazy things going on, and I can't believe that it's like basically past half of the book and we still haven't gotten to the games. I wasn't expecting that, but it makes sense because there's lots of stuff happening before that's important. Okay, so now I'm at the part of the book where the games have officially begun. So crazy stuff. I kind of already knew that the arena would be like that, where it's like very beautiful, because I remember that being mentioned in some other book of the Hunger Games series. I can't remember which one, but and if it wasn't, then maybe I read it somewhere. I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like it had to be mentioned in one of the books, because I was like, yeah, I was expecting the arena to be like that. And I'm sad that Wyatt had to die. I knew someone from District 12 had to at first, just to like make a statement in the book, and I guess Wyatt is like the best choice for that, because he's not like, he's the least important, you could say, from District 12 tributes, unfortunately. But yeah, it's still sad, because, you know, you're still rooting for him. He was a nice guy, like, he had good morals despite coming from the family he did. He was still a respectable, nice guy, so it's sad that he had to go, but yeah, and poor Lulu died. I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not, honestly. I saw it coming. When she got in those flowers, I was like, uh-oh, are you sure they're harmless? And then, obviously, what happened. But yeah, I half expected it to happen. But I also was like, maybe they'll keep her around longer and then the game makers will like use her as a plot for something, like toward the end, closer to the end. So who knows? And I'm also at the part where Haymitch finally is meeting up with Ampert. So we'll see what develops between them. Hopefully they're able to figure out their plan. Probably didn't succeed based on the fact that Haymitch won, because then he would have died doing it, but who knows? Of course, Ampert died, but it was sad, like the fact that like all that was left was his bones and stuff. Like that's exactly what they wanted to avoid, like having a gruesome death. And also Beatty was probably watching it. Like that's so freaking horrible. I feel so bad. I mean, at least they were able to execute their plan, but I don't even think it was that successful. Like it didn't really hinder the arena in any sort of like significant way. So
Oh my God. I can't. Get out.
just sucks. Poor Ampert. I was rooting for him. Like low-key, I was rooting more for him than Lulu. I don't know. Like I just feel more for Ampert for some reason, but either way, both deaths are sad. So now Mesa Lee and Haymitch are in a little team and a little duo, if you will. And I really like their dynamic of like brother and sister. Like I enjoy that they're not just trying to make it romantic just because they can. You know what I mean? Like it's the Hunger Games, so they could do that if they wanted to. And romance is a big part of like all of the other stories, but I'm glad that like for once the main focus is like more of a platonic relationship. And I do love romance. I do. But it definitely feels like Mesa Lee and Haymitch are just like brother-sister vibes. So I love their dynamic. Okay, some updates. So crazy stuff happening. Obviously Mesa Lee died, so that was really sad. And just how she died was so brutal too. Like, but of course, because that was gonna be the most gut-wrenching one. I didn't cry or anything, but it was really sad because it's like, dang, like they had developed such a bond. So her death was like the most sad to me out of all of them, in my opinion, probably because we just got to know her better. And even though she has like this side of her that she tries to hide, like she's a good person, you know what I mean? But yeah, so now I was at the last part. The games just finished, I guess, and they wanted to, you know, declare that Haymitch was the victor, but you know, he had other plans. First of all, how Silka died, like definitely poetic justice. Like he says in the book, like that was such a good way to do it, because it's like, see, like your arena is what like ended up defying your own plan, you know what I mean? So it's just very much poetic justice. I loved how they went about that. And Silka, are you kidding me? Just like chopping off Welly's head and holding it and throwing, like, oh, that is disgusting. Disgusting.
Do you have a question, Kelly?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
So she very much, you know, I was happy about her. Even though obviously it's horrible that any children are dying, but it's all because of their society. But anyways, yeah, like how that death happened for Silka was really, like, I was enthralled when this whole thing was happening and their final fight and everything. Okay, so I just finished the book. I mean, I expected everything that happens to Haymitch eventually to be really horrible, but like I definitely understand his character way more now, why he turns to, you know, alcohol. Obviously it's really understandable with everything that happened to him. It's just disgusting. Like I knew that when the gun drops came into the picture, I was like, oh no, I feel like I don't trust that, and I was right, because that's Snow's favorite way of getting people, you know, poison. But yeah, it's just like disgusting how everything went down, and it just all makes sense now that he's just like so isolated and doesn't really trust anybody. But yeah, so it was a crazy ending. I'm glad that he's able to find some sort of peace with, you know, Katniss and Peeta, and that he let them into his heart after trying to keep so many people out for so long. I definitely really enjoyed the book. It's the first Hunger Games book that I've ever read before seeing a movie, because I know there's going to be a movie eventually, but usually it's been I watch the movie first and then I read the book. So I think it's going to be interesting when a movie eventually does come out, and I can now look back on the book and think, oh, they didn't add this in, or yeah. And it'll be interesting like how they translate certain things, because there's lots of flashbacks in the book, and that's how a lot of information is presented to us. So I wonder how they're gonna go about that in the movie. But yeah, just thinking about the book, I thought it was really good. Definitely kept me on my toes. I feel like the beginning was really interesting, and like the plan to kind of break the arena, that was really good, and it kept me interested. And I really liked all of the characters, like from District 12 and, you know, all the old ones that we know from the previous books and movies, and their younger versions coming into play in the story. So I don't know, it was really like a great addition, I would say, to all of the Hunger Games books. And Suzanne, she's got it. But I definitely really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anyone. Like, I think it's definitely better if you know about the Hunger Games universe already, because there's lots of references to things that you can make connections to, but it's not necessary. Like, this could be the first book you read and you'd be fine, but there might be some things that are like, they feel empty, whereas if you have that context, then it's, you know, like it gets to your feels more. And the only parts that I found myself kind of like not caring as much about is a little bit in the games, whenever it was like maybe the middle part of the games, or like a little in the beginning where Haymitch was kind of alone and he was wandering and stuff. That's the only part that was a little bit like less interesting to me, but besides that, everything else was really interesting. Like seeing the before and the after of the games, I'm glad that we got both of those, so we weren't left wondering like, oh, how did this happen, you know? So yeah, I thought it was a really great book, and I think I need to look back, see, because I know there's some quotes that I really enjoyed from the book that I would like to share or just like point out, because they really stuck out to me. And so first off, there's this one quote at the beginning of chapter 9, literally the first paragraph. Just for some context, this is the part where Plutarch's like, hey Mitch, we're going somewhere. And he's like, what? Where are we going? And he takes him to Snow. So then this is right when he arrives there. So the quote, it says, a fragile collection of muscle and bones, a few quarts of blood, wrapped up in a paper-thin package of skin. That's all I am. As I pass through the doors of this marble fortress, I have never felt more breakable. So I don't know, especially the first part of that quote, like explaining that he's just a fragile collection of muscle and bones, a few quarts of blood wrapped up in a paper-thin package of skin. Like, it just definitely speaks to the fragility of humans and how breakable we really are. And we just, I don't know, in our heads, I think, we feel like we're invincible, like nothing's gonna happen to us, but nobody obviously expects anything to happen to them. So when it does, it's just like, wow, you just feel very like, not weak, but I guess fragile, and you realize like, wow, it's like really easy to, you know, break, really. So that quote got to me. And this next quote that stuck out to me, it's on page 207 of the book. And this is where the District 12 tributes are in the same area as District 11. This is before the games or anything. And then Lulu, she takes over a song when it's being sung by someone from District 11. So then they're like, what? How do you explain that? Like, how would she know that song? And then this is what it says. So I'm just gonna read you the last two paragraphs so that you can have some context. We don't, says Maisley. She's not ours. Ours is dead, and she's the replacement they sent us. Like as not, she's from 11. Our mentors think so anyway. She never seems to care if the Capitol's listening. Tile, the largest of the 11 tributes, speaks in a tight voice. You didn't think that was worth mentioning? And then Wyatt says, we didn't know for sure until now. We've just been trying to look out for her. Does it matter where they took her from, 11 or 12? Aren't we all on the same side? So that kind of shows, especially like what Wyatt said about them all being on the same side. It doesn't even matter where they took them from. The Capitol just sees them as, you know, dispensable pieces of trash. You know, they're like, oh, one of them's dead, let's just replace it with another. Nobody will notice because they're just animals. Nobody cares about animals, you know what I mean? But Wyatt's trying to say, you know, we're all on the same side. It doesn't matter. We're still looking out for her. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which district they're from. Like, we're all going through the same stuff, and it's a very horrible situation, but that's just what it is. And then this last quote that I will be sharing with you is from page 324, and this is where Haymitch and Silka are having their final showdown. So this is the second paragraph from that page, and it says, axe to axe we go at it. I wish I could claim greater speed or strength, but we're fairly matched. Her training's superior, but I have an advantage she can never hope for. Those 31 allies I boasted of to the head game makers, I can feel every one of them at my back. So this quote got to me because after everything Haymitch went through, he's just trying to seek justice for everyone that was wronged by the games. And honestly, Silka did kill Welly, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's all the Capitol's fault. Like, they're making them do that. There's not much they can do when they've got someone so powerful above them and watching their every move and everything. They're just pawns in their game. But anyways, Haymitch is using the strength of all those who were lost to him, his loved ones, to defeat Silka, and he's letting that power him, and I just thought that was really powerful, and it tugged at my heartstrings. So yeah, those are just a few quotes from the book that I really enjoyed and that they got to my heart. And yeah, this book was really amazing. I loved every second of it. Took me a while to get through it just because of life, but I'm kind of glad it did take me a while because it kind of sticks with you if it's something that you read over time instead of just in one sitting. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I would definitely recommend it for any Hunger Games fans, and hopefully if you're watching this, since there's spoilers, you already read it, but let me know what you thought about it, about the book in my comments. Like and subscribe if you wish, or let me know if there's any other books or any things that you would like me to review or just film my reactions to. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day or night, whatever time it is, and yeah, bye.